This is lesson 2-2, solving two-step equations. You will be very happy to know there is no vocabulary for this lesson. Yay! So we are jumping right along to page 89, problem 1. First you might ask, what is a two-step equation? Well, it just has two steps before you can solve it. If you take a look at this example here, 2x plus 3 equals 15. So not only do we have to subtract 3 from each side, but then we also have to divide each side by 2 in order to isolate the variable. Let's practice that a little bit with problem 1. 5 equals t over 2 minus 3. Well, the first thing we need to do is take care of this minus 3. And how do we do that? We add 3 to each side. I should see this step in your notebook. 5 plus 3 equals t over 2 minus 3 plus 3. So that clears out this, and we end up with 8 equals t over 2. Now we have to clear this fraction. How are we going to do that? We're going to multiply each side by 2. 2 times 8 equals t over 2 times 2. Those things clear out. We've isolated t, and we end up with 16 equals t. Don't forget to check. Does 5 equal 16 over 2 minus 3, which is the same thing as 5 equals 8, almost forgot my negative again, plus negative 3? Yes, it does. Problem number 2 I kind of like because it's actually a time where you might use algebra in real life. You're making a bulletin board. You have 18 sheets of construction paper. You need a half a sheet of construction paper for each ad, and you need to use 5 of those sheets for a title banner on your bulletin board. How many ads can you make? Well, A is the number of ads you can make. 1/2 A, because you need 1/2 a piece of paper for each ad, plus 5, because you need to use 5 sheets for a title banner, equals 18, because you only have 18 sheets of construction paper. So then you go ahead and simplify this to get A isolated, subtract 5 from each side, 1/2 A equals 13, multiply both sides by 2 to clear that fraction, and you end up with A equals 26. You could make 26 ads. Problem 2 changes a couple of things. Suppose you use 1/4 of a sheet of paper instead of half a sheet of paper. And suppose you only use 4 sheets for the title banner. How many ads can you make this time? So instead of 1/2 A, we have 1/4 A because we can get 4 ads out of every sheet of paper. We still have only 18 sheets of paper, but we only need to use 4 instead of 5 for the title banner. So moving through this, first we need to subtract 4 from each side of the equation. We end up with 1/4 A equals 14. What's the next step? Of course, it's multiplying each side by 4. We end up with A equals 56. Problem 3 uses 2 terms in the numerator. How do you solve that? Well, same way we have been solving it. We're going to multiply each side of the equation by 3 to clear the denominator. So we end up with x minus 7 equals negative 36. And then we add 7 to isolate x. X equals negative 29. So number 3, problem A, if 6 is equal to x minus 2 over 4, our first step has to be to multiply each side by 4 to clear the denominator. 6 times 4 equals this side of the equation, times 4. Clears that. We end up with 24 equals x minus 2. So now we have to add 2 to each side so we can isolate our variable. 24 plus 2 equals x minus 2 plus 2. 26 equals x. Now check it. Does 6 equal 26 minus 2 over 4? Or in other words, does 6 equal 24 fourths? It absolutely does. Problem B asks you to take the same problem, 6 equals x minus 2 over 4, but express it this way. 6 equals x over 4 minus 2 minus 4, and solve it that way. They want you to figure out which way is easier for you. I'm going to let you work through B on your own and think about which way you liked better. In number 4, they're focusing on you remembering the names of all of these rules and properties that we've learned. They've given you this equation, the opposite of t plus 8 equals 3, and then they've taken the time to write out a reason for each action that you take on this equation. T plus 8 minus 8 equals 3 minus 8. Why can you substitute 8? It's the subtraction property of equality. That gives you negative t equals negative 5, because you've used subtract to simplify. Then they take this extra step and they say, well, the opposite of t is the same thing as negative 1 times t, because of the multiplicative property of number 1. So then you can divide each side by negative 1 because of the division property of equality, and then finally you end up with t equals 5. Don't worry about got it number 4. I have other work I want you to do instead. This is yet another assignment where you get to take your choice. I want you to spend at least 20 more minutes on your homework. I'm figuring it'll probably be 10 minutes of video or less. You can either do number 11 through 37, odd. That's more basic practice on solving equations. Or if you're feeling pretty good about solving equations and you want to try to apply your math a little more, please do 39 to 65, odd. And we will collect those grades tomorrow. Good job.